Okay, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to tear down a core belief in problem solving. Here it is. Trade-offs, they aren't real. At all. They're just a symptom of a much deeper problem you haven't found yet.
Yeah? That sound familiar? We can improve this, but then that gets worse. We've all been there. Most of us have said that exact thing. It's the sound of a team just hitting a wall. The conversation just dies right there, doesn't it? It feels so realistic, so responsible.
But here's the thing. For us, using TRIZ, that sentence is not an ending. It's the starting gun. This is the moment, right now, where this way of thinking completely breaks away from your standard problem solving.
All right, Section 1, the trade-off trap. We need to talk about why that old way of thinking is, well, a trap. It feels practical, sure, but it's actually holding you back.
This is really the heart of it, right? When teams accept a trade-off, they think they're being realistic. I mean, traditional engineering, traditional design, it's all built on compromise. We're taught to balance these conflicting needs, like making a plane strong but also lightweight. Or think about a massive dam. It needs to be super stable, but what about the cost? So we negotiate. We find some good enough middle ground, and we pat ourselves on the back for being so realistic.
TRIZ just flat out rejects this. The assumption here is totally different. It's that if you're stuck in a trade-off, you haven't finished defining the problem. Simple as that. The goal is not to balance the conflict. The goal is to make it disappear, to eliminate it completely.
Okay, Section 2, a signal, not a conclusion. So, if a trade-off isn't the final word, what is it? Think of it like a signpost. It's pointing to something way deeper, something TRIZ calls a contradiction.
Okay, look at this. This is so important. The real shift is in the goal. With the trade-off, you're just negotiating. The goal is to compromise, right? You give a little, you get a little. But a contradiction, that's an unresolved conflict, and the goal is total elimination. We're not looking for a middle ground. We're looking to invent a whole new ground where the conflict doesn't even exist.
So here's the key takeaway. That feeling of being stuck, it's actually a gift. Seriously. It's like a big flashing neon sign pointing right at the true heart of your problem. That spot, that's where the real breakthrough is just waiting for you. See, compromise just papers over the crack. Resolution makes the whole system stronger.
All right, Section 3, naming the real conflict. Let's move from theory to practice. You can't eliminate a contradiction until you can name it with absolute laser-like precision.
So, TRIZ gives us a kind of hierarchy here. A lot of times we start with this really vague administrative contradiction. Something like, we need to cut costs, but we have no idea how. Our job is to sharpen that. We turn it into a technical contradiction. That's when improving one thing makes another worse. Or sometimes a physical contradiction, which is when one thing needs opposite properties, like it needs to be hot and cold at the very same time.
For most of what we're going to do, we'll be living right here, the technical contradiction. This is your classic strength versus weight or speed versus fuel efficiency problem. And notice how disciplined this definition is. It's not a vague feeling. It's a very specific, observable relationship between two parts of your system.
And this visual is just brilliant for showing the process. We can even use a terrible idea, a bad solution, to help us out. We ask, okay, what's good about this bad idea? And what's bad about it? By doing that, we can pull apart the conflicting elements. The process acts like a prism, right? It takes this messy, jumbled problem and splits it into a crystal clear, well-defined contradiction.
Okay, so why all this hard work? Section 4. The goal is ideality. We go through this super rigorous process for one reason. It's the fastest, most direct path to improving a system's ideality.
Ideality is like the North Star for all of TRIZ. It's this perfect conceptual state where you get all the benefits with zero cost and zero harm. Now, look, we might never reach that perfect state, but just aiming for it forces us to think in breakthrough terms.
And here's how we kind of measure it. Ideality is just all the useful stuff divided by all the bad stuff, the costs and the harms. Now think about that for a second. Every single time you accept a trade-off, you're adding costs or harms to the bottom of that equation, making it worse. But when you eliminate a contradiction, you can boost the benefits on top while shrinking the costs on the bottom. That is how you get a massive leap forward in ideality.
All right, Section 5, your task, define the conflict. Now it's your turn. We're going to walk through a very precise, very disciplined exercise to put this into practice.
Okay, using the system you've been working on, I want you to follow these steps, and I mean exactly, no shortcuts.
Step 1, you're going to state the trade-off using that exact structure on the screen. Then, step 2, you're going to ask a weird question. What's the absolute worst way to solve this? Then you'll analyze that bad idea to find the good parts and the bad parts, and use that to nail down the true contradiction.
And this last part is your litmus test. After you've written down your contradiction, you have to ask yourself this question. If the answer is a clear yes, you've found it. You've hit the root of the problem. If the answer is no, or even maybe, you've got to dig deeper.
And when you do this right, I promise you're going to have this moment of just profound clarity. It'll hit you. All that time you spent trying to balance the trade-off, trying to negotiate, it was a waste. You'll realize, oh my God, we've been negotiating the wrong thing all along.
Okay, one last thing before we wrap up. Let's talk about your path through the rest of this course.
So, as we go forward, you've got 2 options for all the exercises. Option 1, which I really recommend, is to apply these tools directly to a real business challenge from your own work. Option 2 is to follow along with the Hoover Dam case study that we've provided. The choice is yours. The most important thing is that you practice. So do the exercise, be precise, and I'll see you tomorrow.